So what's up, y'all? I'm in my backyard chilling. It's hot. It's not too bad actually. It's maybe about what's the humidity? It's like 80% humidity right now, and I think it's gonna rain tomorrow too. But yeah, I'm sitting in my backyard and I'm thinking about. Well, I feel better from yesterday. Feel a lot better. Um, and I'm thinking about how we have to, how I've had to find ways to be okay with where I am. Um, I think the biggest devastation is realizing that the dreams that you once had probably won't come true as you thought they would. And so I've had dreams of things that I wanted to do, um, places I wanted to go, just a life that I want to have. And I'm realizing that that may not be the life for me, but I'm not sure what the next life looks like. And also becoming okay with not comparing your growth to anyone else's growth. I think people say that all the time, but I think we still hold this idea of, and I'm so guilty of this. Like, I have to be growing, I have to be going forward, I have to be doing all these things, and blah blah blah. I saw a post on Instagram, this chick that I follow, where she was talking about not everybody's gonna not everybody's gonna grow. Some people are just gonna stay stagnant, and you have to move away from that if you want to. And I agree with that to an extent, but I disagree with it because everybody's growing. Everybody's growing just like the grass is growing at the rate, like no two blades of grass is going to grow at the same rate. Every single one is going to grow at its own pace, and you may not be growing in the same direction, but you're definitely growing. um, if you're not around somebody um, who is growing in a way that you're growing in towards the direction you want to grow to, then that's definitely something you want to let go. Someone you want to let go of. But I think the problem with that level of thinking or that type of thinking is that it is a window into how you view yourself, like how you view yourself on the inside. When you say, and I felt this, they're not going anywhere, they're not doing, anything, I don't want to be around that. That's how you judge yourself. So in moments where you feel like, where I felt like my life has not gone in the way that it needed to go, where I compare myself to others, where I take others' words and infiltrate that shit in my mind, or that shit has infiltrated in my mind of where I should be or shouldn't be. That, I think, destroys the growth that you would have had, or the blossoming that you would have had if you weren't so harsh. You know what I mean? If I wasn't so harsh on myself. Um, there are moments where I felt like that recently, for sure. But over the years as well, where like I'm not getting where I'm supposed to be. I'm not growing enough. I have to grow. I have to learn. I have to know more and all these different things. And while the exploration of it can be fun, it takes a toll after a while when you're constantly, that thought process is constantly being beat down in your brain of where you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to go, what they're not doing, what you're not, you know what I mean? And I feel like that type of thinking is like the antithesis to growth. I believe that's how you say it, antithesis to growth. So if you feel like in order to have a great life, you have to be doing all these different things and growing in all these different ways. And if you're not doing that, then there's something wrong and you're on the wrong path and you should be doing this, you should be doing that. It's like, if that wasn't a part of the thinking, imagine what more you could be doing with where you are. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm just now figuring out. It's like, it's so much that I'm just like data dumping out of my head. So much that I'm just coming to terms with. Not about where I could be on the outside or even on the inside spiritually or whatever, but the happiness that I could have if I didn't do that, you know? And just reading the post, it just, I don't like the word triggered, but it triggered a reaction in me like, I do this to myself. I've done this for years to myself. And has it ever helped me? Has it ever helped anyone else? No. I feel like, again, if a person is not growing in the same direction you are and it's becoming a hindrance to your growth, then you 100% should let that relationship go. But to view another's level of growth as inferior to yours is just another way of saying that if I am not this, or if I am not growing in this way or that way, then I'm inferior to this higher vision of myself rather than who I actually am as being supreme. You know, I'm really getting away from polarizing statements, polarizing ways of thought. And I noticed that this world that we live in is very polarizing. You're either this or that. It's like very extreme. And I noticed the extremeness in my thinking, and I just don't want that anymore. I don't deserve that, you know? And so if you're feeling this way, I just want to inject a seed to say stop. Stop. Stop it. For all those who would say where you should be and where you shouldn't be, I say, to be honest, look at their life. Is their life the life you would want? Because if it was, do you think that a person or people, a group of people who really want to see you win, do you think they would spend their time criticizing where you are? Because I've lived with a lot of that. Do you think they would spend their time criticizing where you are, or would they spend their time lifting you up if they really had your best interest at heart and not the interest of the vision in their head that you should have, or even the world's vision of who you should be? Think about how the world is right now. Think about the chaos that it's in. And a lot of the people who are creating this chaos, would you want to be them? Would you really want their life? Thus far, I have not seen or met anybody's life that, oh, so music. I don't even know if you can hear that. Probably. I haven't met anybody whose life I want thus far, or whose life I think that would be great, to live. Nobody. There's certain elements of their life that I think that would be great, but there's nobody that I've met thus far that I want their life, or have seen that I want their life. Nobody. So when I bring that back to myself, what kind of life do I want for myself? Excluding the whole growth thing. You're always growing. That's an axiom of life. You're going to grow forever. That's the whole point of evolution. You're going to continue to grow. But when I bring that back to myself, what do I really want my life to look like when I exclude all of that bullshit? What should it really look like? That's like literally the only question you should ever ask yourself. What do I want my life to look like? And if you don't know, that's totally fine. Think about what your needs are. For me, my needs are connection. That's one thing that I feel like I lack in my life, is real, genuine, heart to heart. Like, I see you, you see me in my eyes, and I see your spirit, you see mine type of connection. That's what I want more than anything. Great connections. And not just outside of myself, but in myself. Seeing the two halves of myself that are always at war. They want two totally different things. Can I get those two things to see eye to eye? And working on doing daily things like dropping those types of polarizing beliefs. That's a part of the work or the growth to get those two beings to see eye to eye within myself. But yeah, I think that's what I want to say today is you're always growing. You never have to worry about growth. As long as you're breathing and as long as your spirit exists, you will always continue to grow. It's less about growth and more about what is it that you want to see in your life. And that's what I'm starting to get clear on. In just little moments, like even little moments today, I was like, that's what I really want in my life. Just thinking about things, seeing certain things, having certain connections. That's what I really want in my life. I want to feel the kindness and love in my life in a way that I've never experienced within myself and outside of myself. So a lot of the ways that I have criticized myself in the past, I'm seeing it through new eyes. Like, do I have to live like that? I don't want to anymore. So anyway, look at my hair. Look at my lock shot. Oh my goodness, again, so low. I'm at this point, this is a little side note. I'm at this point where I'm enjoying the growth. Okay. But it's becoming a thing. And I don't know if I like my hair becoming a thing. Like before it was just like kind of an afterthought in a way. Like I just get up, put my hair in a bun, go about my life. Just a bun. Big bun. But now it's like it's hot. It's getting stuck on things. It's starting to become weighty. Not weighty like where I couldn't deal with it, but weighty like I feel the weight of it now, And I'm like, how long? It's like I want to see it get to the point where it can touch my booty, but do I really want it to touch my booty? And then I don't want to cut my ends because like I like my curls and I would have to make new ends. Like I'd have to comb it out and make new ends. And I don't want to do that. I don't know. This is what happens when my regular natural hair got to about this length. My natural hair did get to my booty, just right above my booty. And I was like, oh, hell no. No. I was seeing how much I was spending on products and how long it was taking for me to do it, how long it was taking to dry. Oh, no. But with micro locks, you really have to consider the weight. Like, if you are somebody who has thin hair, and I've seen this with people recently, if you're someone who has thin hair and you're considering micro locks, I would say don't do it. Because the weight of the locks over time, even though like the person I'm talking about, theirs was quite short, but they had thin hair, like thinning hair, like alopecia thinning hair, and the weight on the thinner strands, like the roots of your locks is what's holding all of this stuff up. So the longer they get, the more weight is on the roots and the more likely you'll start to see breakage. I noticed that up here, I have like I got this from my dad. This, I already know this is gonna go, as I get older. So I'm enjoying it while it's here. Like I think my grandma had that too. Like this part is going. So I'm enjoying my hairline while it's here. So you don't want to put stress on thinner areas. So in areas like this, I have some areas in the middle of my head where I scratch a lot. They start to get thin. I had to combine locks. I had some areas right here. I scratch a lot here. I had to combine things here. So you don't want to do that. I would suggest thicker locks. This is just after. This ain't got nothing to do with what we was talking about earlier. This is just after. I would suggest thicker locks or just maybe twisted styles or something because the weight, I feel the weight on certain locks now that I didn't before. Like these right here, even though they're pretty thick, but I feel the pull. Like these thinner ones right here, I'm starting to feel a pull of the weight, and they get caught on stuff and like it hurts. So I'm gonna have to be more careful with how I have my hair. Like I always hair my hair up in a bun. You're not really supposed to do that because you can cause breakage in the back, and I'm understanding why as they get heavier. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna probably start my retie this weekend because I've been doing a lot of scratching and I'm seeing a lot of breakage. Like this type of stuff, this isn't supposed to be here. This is from scratching, and I'm seeing it all over. So when you have, say if you do have thinner locks and you want to have thinner locks, you have to maintain them every month. You have to either be doing it yourself or you have to have somebody who's really good that cares about your hair and is going to tell you the truth. And somebody that's going to do regular maintenance to your shit, because when I would go, like I would see all this breakage, I would go months. Like normally if I don't have a lot of scratching, I can go about 4 to 5 months without doing a retie and it'd be fine. But when I have a lot of scratching and go 4 to 5 months, the breakage is crazy. I have to put a bunch of knots in different locks. Like here's a knot right, you can't even see it, it's already blended in, but it's a knot right there. I have another one somewhere back here that I have to knot up all. See, these are thinner. This is the thinness right, that's from scratching. I can't find my other one though. This video is getting long. Here it is right here. Knots. I've had to do knots because you see how well that blended in with the lock? Like you can't even tell. I have to point it out to you. That tells you exactly how thin it was. When they start doing thin and stuff, you have to do. So it's only been like 3 months since I did my retie. I have to do another one because I will risk breakage and losing locks. So that's just a disclaimer for the lock girls. I might do a separate post about that. But if you have micro locks, sister locks, you have to take, they require more maintenance than the average lock, and you have to be prepared to take on that task. I do my own hair, so I knew what I was getting into with psoriasis, but I realize the extent of it now. Anyway, I think that's it. I probably have more to say tonight, but I'll post it the next day. Love you, bye.